So if you're following us right now, it's actually our virtual Spirit Wear week, and today is sports day, so I chose my LeBron jersey for today. Today we're going to be focusing on simplifying and equivalent ratios. So those are two kind of really big words. Simplifying just means something that's smaller, to make something smaller or easier, to simplify something. Equivalent means equal to or the same as. So these are two things that we're going to look at, and they kind of go hand in hand. So that's why we're doing it together. So simplifying and equivalent ratios. You can only multiply or divide during this. So that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on. So multiplication and division facts are really important. So we're going to have a question like this. The ratio of PlayStations or PS4s to Xbox is 3:6. So it already gives us our ratio and it gave us the picture. I can see that there are 3 PlayStations, 1, 2, 3, and 6 Xboxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means 3:6. Remember that our ratios are in 3 ways: colon, the word to, and the fraction. So in that sense, we're going to do it with simplifying. So I'm just going to use the ratio that it gave us. So it gave us 3 to 6. Right? So that's the one that they gave us. All right. So I'm going to simplify. Remember, simplify means to make smaller. So I can only divide when getting smaller numbers. So that's what I'm going to do here. What two numbers, or what number can these two simplify by? Well, let's think. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, those both work. 6 times 1 is 6, but 6 times 2 is 12. That's too big. So we're going to go with 3. So I'm going to take this number and I'm going to just divide it by 3. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Divide by 3. That's another word for equivalent. So we just made them the same, but we're simplifying, which means smaller. So now I'm going to look. 3 divided by 3. Okay, Ms. Dominich, my division is not very good. So what can I do instead? Well, we have something called the inverse operation. So instead of dividing, I can multiply. Okay, so something times 3 gets me 3. Oh, 1. Okay, so I know 1 times 3 gets me 3. Awesome. Now I need to do 6 divided by 3. Again, division is not my strongest. So I'm going to think of it backwards and do the inverse. Something times 3 is 6. Oh, 2, right? So 2 is my next ratio number. So it's still in order of what they gave us. It's the same. So I'm going to write these the different ways now. Notice it's really important what number comes first. It asks for PlayStation first. So that's the first number that I put. Then the word is 2. It separates our 2 quantities or our 2 objects, things, whatever it may be, to use the word 2. So PlayStation's to Xbox, PlayStation's to Xbox, PlayStation to Xbox, PlayStation to Xbox. So I'm just going to go ahead and simplify these again the same way. We already know we can divide by 3 to make these smaller. And we already did the math. So now I just need to rewrite it using the ratio ways. Okay, now I need to do my fraction. This one looks a little different because they're not exactly lined up together. So I just need to focus here. The top number is first, so that's where I simplify first. And that's going to put my next number on the top as well. Then I'm going to take my next one, which is on the bottom, and I'm going to divide it again by 3, okay? And my number will now go to the bottom. So they should all look pretty similar. They're all written with 1 to 2 as my answer. That's simplified. It's smaller. what do we know about 1 to 2 or 1 over 2? What decimal could that be? Oh, okay, you're right, 0.5 or 0 and 50 hundredths. So with that being said, we can look at it as 0 and 5 tenths or 0 and 50 hundredths. That could help me if it does ask me for a percent. This time, it doesn't ask me for a percent, so I'm just gonna leave it right there. Now we're gonna focus on equivalent ratios. Remember, equivalent means what? Right, the same or equal to. Okay, so I'm gonna focus on that. How do I make something the same or equal to? Well, we're gonna focus just on that today. We're gonna use the same numbers, 3 to 6, because it just makes things a little easier looking at it. It's gonna give you different ratios, it's gonna give you different numbers, but we're just gonna keep it simple right now, and we're gonna use what they gave us, which is 3 to 6. So I'm going to use these, and I'm going to say 3, sorry guys, to 6. All right, so now I need to see how I can make it equivalent. How can I make another ratio that is just like that? So I can either divide or now I can multiply. A little easier. Remember that when you divide, you're making things smaller, and when you're multiplying, you're making things bigger. So we're just gonna pick any number. I'm gonna start with 2. So I'm gonna take this number, 3, and I'm going to multiply it. Notice that my other answer is gonna go on this side. So my first number is gonna stay on the left side of that colon. 3, and I'm gonna just choose 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Good, okay. So we have 6. Now, I'm gonna look at the 6. That's the second number. So that means it goes after the colon. So I'm going to keep the same number. I can't multiply the second number with a different number. That is not equal or the same as it, right? So I have to keep it with times 2. So I'm going to take my 6 and I'm going to multiply it by 2 because that makes them equivalent, okay? So 6 times 2, what's 6 times 2? 6, 12, oh, 12, great. So there's my ratio, 6 to 12. They're equivalent because I multiplied by 2 at the top over here with the first number, and I multiplied by 2 with the second number. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try another number. I'm gonna use the same numbers. 3 to 6. Okay, just gonna go with 3. That's the next number after 2, right? So I'm gonna go times 3. All right, times 3 to my first number. Times 3, first number. 3 times 3, 3, 6, 9. Oh, okay, 9, great. Then I have my second number. And I still need to make it equivalent. So if I multiply by 3 to the first number, what do I have to do to the second number? Multiply by 3. Great. So we're gonna do just that. Times 3. 6 times 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, I don't know that. What about 6? So 6, 12, 18. Oh, okay. 18. Awesome. Again, why are they equivalent? Because they both are multiplied by the same number. Now, I'm going to use one more, and I'm going to show you with the fraction. 3 to 6. Well, I'm not going to do the next number, which would be 4. I'm going to use 10. It's a little bigger, but that's okay. So I'm going to do the first number again. So my first number is 3. So whatever I do there, which would be here, right? 3 times 10. Okay. I know 3 times 1 is 3. There's a 0. So all I have to do is add the 0. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3. And add my 0. 30. Okay, not too bad. Now I'm going to do the second number. 6 times what? What's going to make it equivalent? 6 times 9? 6 times 8? 6 times 20? No, 6 times 10. All right. Same thing. Equivalent, right? Okay, 6 times 1 I know is 6. It has the 0 again. So I'm just going to bring the 0 over. Oh, there you go. So they're now equivalent to each other. That means if I have 3 PlayStations to 6 Xboxes, then I'm also going to have 6 PlayStations to 12 Xboxes. What are we really saying here? Xbox is better because there's more. That's just how the world works. So, hope you learned something from that, and you're going to have a little question about it on the Google form. Have a good day.